Okay, let me make sure I'm online. Okay. Hello, I'm Alex from A.P.Ink. So, I had more of a curiosity than an idea on this. So, I've got, if I can get the page, I've got these markers, and at least these ones are water-based. And I've had these for a while, but I kind of tucked them away and forgot about them. I recently used these on what was supposed to be mixed media paper, and they kind of ate the paper up, which I think that just means the mixed media paper isn't necessarily the best quality. But I wanted to see how these markers hold up to watercolor paper. Um, we'll see. Bo both of these are Arteza markers, but we'll see how much I might use both sets. So just to see how these markers work on this paper, I'm gonna try to kind of recreate this image. So I've got the same reference for you in case you'd like to draw along. And so I've got Arteza markers and I've got Arteza colored pencil that I'm going to use the colored pencil to kind of lay out the scene, and I might use them to detail this, but I'm going to jump right into this because I'm kind of running out of time. Maybe gray so that maybe it won't stand out too much in the finished piece. So just to lay out where the shell is. I'm not sure what kind of shell this is. If it's supposed to be like a clam shell, or I think it's pronounced conch or conch. I'm not sure which. And then to kind of lay out where the mirror image is. I want this to be light enough that it won't stand out too much in the finished piece, but I'd like to be able to actually see it. So I'm making the center point or the center focus more on the shell than the kind of blurry, hazy background. I don't know how much you can actually see. I think you can kind of see what I've drawn here, but I've kind of rounded out the bottom here, and it should actually be flat. Excuse me. to actually get this looking semi-decent before I go in with the markers. Okay. I don't know, I was gonna move on, but to actually be happy with the initial sketch, because to test the markers and end up with some sort of artwork that looks semi-decent afterwards would be kind of nice. Okay. So for the base color, maybe this A200. So this is going to be a test to see how these markers hold up on the paper, but it's not going to be primarily 100% marker art. Okay, so I don't know, maybe I was a bit heavy-handed here with the marker, but it was still peeling the paper. So I used this kind of, I mean, it's almost highlighter orange for the main shell. I think for the reflected shell, I'm going to use A108. So I guess A300 to try to put the base color in for the sand. So if not watercolor paper, I'm not sure how you're supposed to use, or like what paper you're supposed to use these markers on. I mean, maybe it's the watercolor paper itself that's the problem. These are Arteza markers on Arteza watercolor paper. Okay, so before I go in and potentially rip the paper up anymore with colored pencil, and this probably isn't gonna do much, I should probably actually just let this sit. I was gonna go dry this in front of a fan. I think I might actually just let this sit. So this was a really short one. I'm not sure where or how else I should try to use these markers, but I kind of want to actually see if I can try to get something relatively okay looking, even though this was supposed to just be a test. I think, yeah, I'm gonna let this sit and come back in another stream to try to work on this. It might take me more than one more sitting. So if you'd like to see the continuation of this, please make sure that you're following me and that your notifications are turned on so that you're notified for the next time I go live. But I'm gonna have to try to research this some to see what's the best way to use these markers. I mean, maybe it's the paper I used here. Maybe it's the mixed media paper that I used before, that the papers aren't the best. I don't know. But anyways, thank you to anybody who watched. Stay tuned for part 2 of this. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.